Okwekalakasa tugenda maaso mu ggwanga lya Canada ab'ekibiina ki National Unity Platform beekalakasa olw'abaana 18 abaabuzibwawo nga kw'otadde n'abo abattibwa n'abali mu makomera ewatali musango. Bano amawanga ago agakuze agasapootinga Mwami Museveni ge gabamu ku bagabaviirako okubanga bawambibwa, battibwa, babuzibwawo nga n'abalala tutulugunyizibwa nga byonna bikolebwa Mwami Museveni mu nsi yaffe kubanga bano be bamuwa ssente ezigula amasasi, ezigula emmundu, ezigula tiyagaasi, ebyo ebitutuusaako obulabe. Okwekalakasa kuno kugenda eri amawanga ago olw'obutali bumativu bwa Banna Uganda okubanga basapootinga Mwami Museveni okubonyaabonya n'okutulugunya Uganda. Ekimala kimala, tukooye embeera embi, tukooye okututulugunya, tukooye stop supporting dictator kubanga tukimanyi bulungi nti Mwami Museveni dictator, ekiki ekyalimu tekikyali kya byabufuzi wabula ayagala kuzimba dynasty ye. Naye ng'ekimala kimala, amawanga gano galekeraawo okusapootinga Mwami Museveni, mulekeraawo okusapootinga okubonaabona kwa Banna Uganda. Mwami Museveni, bring back our people. Abaana bali mu makomera baleka famire zaabwe ebweru, famire zaabwe zibalaba nga babonyaabonyezebwa mu makomera, abamu tebamanyikiddwako na we bali. Okwekalakasa kuno kugenze mu maaso olw'ebutali bumativu n'embeera egenda mu maaso mu ggwanga Uganda kubanga kati we twogerera n'abantu abamu mu Uganda bagobeddwa ku ttaka lyabwe, tebakyalina we babeera olw'okubanga Mwami Museveni ettaka ayagala okuliwa Abachina nga ye abayita ba investor, naye nga tebalina kye bayinvestinga mu Uganda kiyamba Munnayuganda, wabula bajja muno nabo kunoonya nsimbi, naye ng'abawa ettaka ne bamuwa ssente olw'okubanga bo baagala okubanga ye ayagala ssente, bali baagala ttaka lya Uganda.
In connection to the last general elections. The last general elections happened in 2021. So it's been a while. So in today's demonstration, we're going to go through the 18 abducted Ugandans, and we're also going to go through the ongoing abductions as of today. We'll be also going through the cases, the 18 cases one by one. Who are these 18? Where are they? Why is it so silent in Uganda and even in the diaspora? Why we don't have so many people advocating for these people? Because that's what General Museveni wants. He doesn't want to talk about the missing or the abducted 18. People have been silenced in Uganda not to talk about these people. Members of parliament, the citizenry, they're not talking about these people. So that's what brings us here. We're the only Ugandans who think their voices need to be heard. So our pledge to you, sweeties, we want you to hold your government accountable. How? Sweden is a country which is a business partner to our country. They've been supporting our country for quite some time, and we really appreciate the partnership, the brotherhood of assisting us. SIDA is done and is still doing a great job in Uganda, but much needs to be done on the human rights front. Why is Sweden probably one of the leading countries in advocating for human rights, not putting pressure to General Museveni, who is sponsor yearly since he came to power in 1986. So we're going to be talking about these people And I'm going to give you a colleague of mine, a confidant, someone who worked with Joseph. He's going to give you a brief background of when General Museveni came to power. By the way, General Museveni, prior to coming to Uganda or to power, he resided in Sweden. He was under the refugee status here for over 5 years. So one would wonder what it became of Museveni. One would think for someone who lived in Sweden for 5 years, he could do better on the human rights front. Unfortunately, probably didn't learn a lesson or two living in Sweden for 5 years. So one would wonder what did he teach General Museveni under his refugee status in Sweden. So I'm going to bring and introduce my dear friend Joseph to come and give you some background of how General Museveni came to power, what has been happening on the human rights front until today. So Joseph, are you ready?
Hej allihopa, ni är jättevälkomna till dagens demonstration. Jag ska berätta lite om Uganda. Uganda ligger i östra Afrika. Vi är 46 miljoner befolkningar och vi är en koloni av Storbritannien. Vi blev självständiga 1962. Det har hänt mycket. Men idag vill vi prata mer om Museveni, diktatorn Museveni, som egentligen bodde i Sverige i ungefär 5 år. Vad man hade förväntat sig var att han skulle vara en förebild för demokrati. Men istället han har blivit diktatorn. Han har blivit direkt motsatsen av våra förväntningar. Så idag vill vi prata mer om grova kränkning av mänskliga rättigheter. Och vi vill prata mer om fortförandet av 18 medborgare som har fått bort. Så ni är välkomna till denna protest mot diktatorn Musevenis regim. Vi har samlat här idag för att kräva att de 18 personer som bortfördes ska släppas fria. Syftet med denna protest är trefaldigt. För det första kräver vi att de 18 personer som saknas friges. Vi kräver att alla politiska fångar i Uganda friges. För det andra är vi här för att informera er mer om den bekymmersamma politiska situationen i Uganda. Detta för att mobilisera den allmänna opinionen bland det svenska folket så att de solidariserar sig med ugandiska folk. För det tredje kräver vi att den svenska regeringen omedelbart avbryter allt samarbete med Ugandas regim. Vi kräver att stoppa alla bistånd till Uganda idag. Sverige har genom året gett diktatorn ekonomiska bistånd utan att ställa några krav. Sverige fortsätter att stödja regimen genom utvecklingsprogram. Till exempel år 2022 gav SIDA-regimen 571 miljoner kronor på rättfärdigande på Sveriges fortsatta stöd till den diktatorn. Vi fördömer fortsatt samarbete mellan Sverige och diktatorn. Vi uppmanar att regeringen omedelbart avbryter allt samarbete. Kamrater, kränkningar av mänskliga rättigheter bara fortsätter i Uganda. Även idag fortsätter kränkningar. Vi vill uppmärksamma på den oroväckande situationen och de mänskliga rättigheterna i Uganda som kännetecknas av allvarliga kränkningar, ett förakt för rättsstatsprincipen och alarmerande försämring av demokratiska värderingar. Ugandas medborgare har utsatts för grova kränkningar av de mänskliga rättigheterna sedan 1900 med grymheter som orsakats av stora förluster av liv och egendom, såsom massakrerna i Luero Triangle som skedde mellan 1981 och 1985. Där ungefär 300 000 människor har dödats. Vi har haft massakern i Kitwamba där studenter mördades, ungefär 80 studenter. Vi har haft massakrerna i Kayunga 2009 där ungefär 27 personer dödades. Vi har haft massakrerna i Kasese-palatset 2016 där 100 personer dödades. Men först vi hade massakrerna i november 2020 där ungefär 200 personer dödades. Så efter 2021 intensifierades attacken av oppositionen med aggressiva bortförande, betvingande, försvinnande, tortyr, olagliga frihetsberövande, våldtäkter och mord. I november 2020 dödades över 200 medborgare under protester, även om det officiella siffran fortfarande är bara 54. Är den svenska regeringen inte oroad över den avsaknaden av rättsstatsprincipen i Uganda? Ett blomstrande samhälle är beroende av denna grundläggande princip. Men i Uganda upplever ett betydande bortfall, vilket resulterar i dålig styrning, utbredd korruption, institutionella kollaps, social oro, ojämlikhet, sociala orättvisor och erosion av demokrati. Vi uttrycker våra besvikelser över Sveriges orubbliga stöd för diktatorn i över 30 år utan att ställa honom till svars. Trots många brott mot de mänskliga rättigheterna, korruption och brist på efterlevnad av rättsstatsprincipen. Mot bakgrunden av denna oroande utveckling uppmanar vi Sveriges regering att ompröva och stoppa allt ekonomiskt bistånd till regimen. Avslutningsvis vill vi säga att det är avgörande att vi står enade i fördömandet av sådana handlingar och arbetar på att förnya ett globalt samhälle som upprätthåller principen om mänskliga rättigheter och demokratiska samhällsstyrning. Kamrater, om ni har några frågor är ni välkomna att ställa dem. Det var bra. Så fortsätter att demonstrera om grova mänskliga kränkningar i Uganda. Som man i 1970-talet vi har haft som en statsråd som låtsas vara en demokrat men egentligen folk arresteras och torteras och dödas till och med. Så det är en allvarlig situation. Det är därför vi uppmanar Sverige att frysa alla ekonomiska bistånd till Uganda. Ni bör markera genom att avbryta omedelbart alla samarbete med den diktatorn i Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to speak to you in English. We are here today to demonstrate once again against the gross human rights violations in Uganda that have been going on in the past 40 years. It's way to fight without any connection. And what this is wrong, and this is very, it has to be condemned. Is one, any continued support of the 70 the devices and the whitewashing of the dictatorship that is taking place. What happens to 70 willfully abducts, he tortures and kills citizens. And this is going on for over 40 years, I'm saying. Sweden should actually be, Sweden should hold Museveni accountable. So we also hold the Swedish government accountable that they failed as signatories of international conventions. For example, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Covenant on Social and Political Rights, which demands that they should do an audit, a rights audit before they can engage with Uganda. So secondly, what this does is that it merely prolongs the suffering and the oppression of Ugandans. And this is because Museveni gets away with murder. He does whatever he does, and no one holds him to account. And this creates problems. But what this does, ladies and gentlemen, it just emboldens the dictator to think that he can do whatever he wants because no one is holding him accountable. And as I speak, people are still being abducted. We have Comrade Masaba, who is a blogger, who was based in Kuwait, who was recently abducted. We have Hussein Mombia, one of the activists, who was abducted and is incarcerated. We have Batabukide, also known as Luchalo Bossa, who was abducted, although he has recently been released. So this is the environment that is very worrying, and it is very worrying, and we invite you to join us to demonstrate. And fourthly, ladies and gentlemen, failure to intervene and continued support of Museveni means that the dictator is just emboldened to go on doing what he's doing. This is very, very unfortunate. He's committing crimes against humanity. So, ladies and gentlemen, support us, the government of Sweden to immediately stop supporting Museveni. We call upon the EU representative to Uganda, Jan Sadik, who actually comes from Sweden. We are very disappointed that he is in cahoots with this regime. Yet he should be demanding, he should actually be demanding accountability. They should be demanding for respect for human rights. They should be demanding for rule of law. They should be demanding for equality and equity. But this is not happening. Ladies and gentlemen, the situation continues to be serious. Of course, we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters of Palestine. Yes, what is happening in Palestine is absolutely appalling, and we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters. If you have any questions, please come over and ask them. But we really want everybody on board. At least begin by doing some research to know what is exactly going on in Gaza. Thank you.
Hi guys. Hello. Hello.
Uganda.
Hello. Yeah, sorry. Guys, we're here to the demonstration advocating for the missing Ugandans, started in Uganda. There are 18 of them. We're going to be talking about one at a time. And then we're going to be also going to highlight one powerful, courageous, and apologetic lady in Olivia Lotaya, who was abducted 2 months after giving birth. She happens to have 2 kids. The one she gave birth to prior to being abducted is almost 4 years since she was abducted. So you can figure out yourself what the families and the kids and this young lady go through. So I would like you to follow me here. We have our Roland. The number one person which everyone needs to know his whereabouts is John Bosco Chivalama. He's the number one person there, if you could highlight him. John Bosco Chivalama. He survived, I don't know if I have to use that word. He had 3 kids at the time of being abducted. He was an accountant. Since the 2021 general elections, nothing has been heard of him. He was abducted actually prior to the general elections. He was picked up from his work and he's never been seen today. So we still want to know his whereabouts as Ugandans in general. So we would also call upon the responsible international human rights organizations or friends to Ugandans to advocate on the missing persons, not only John Bosco Chivalama, but a few others which we're going to be going through. The next one is John Gamulira. At the age of abduction was 50 years. I guess right now it makes him 54 years. He was a mechanic. This guy was at his place of work and the security agent of the Uganda government picked him from his truck. He's survived by a kid who you see there in the picture, a little one. Not happy about the situation. I don't think he's happy at this moment. So John Damunia has been missing since the 21st of December 2020. That was 1 year before the general elections. Yeah? So that's number 2. Number 3, we go to a gentleman called Godfrey Chisembo. Insect is a lady who is friending for the little one. Yeah? Now, surprisingly, not surprisingly, is normal. This gentleman had 11 kids. So you can imagine, in absence of the father, what the family and the loved ones are going through. I wonder who's friending for the 11 kids. And mind you, in Uganda we don't have the state support, whereby the government in abducting him and charging him or whatever case would be taking care of the relatives of this gentleman. Number 4, we have Joseph Baguma. At the time of abduction, he was 30 years. Right now, it makes him probably 40. Yeah, he was picked up in December 2020. And it was a year before the general election. And again, we have number 5, Hassan Mobiru. Hassan Mobiru was 38 years at the time of being picked. He was picked up in November on the 20th, 2020, a year before, a few months before the general elections. He survived, or he had 3 kids. His whereabouts are unknown. Moving on, we have number 6. Number 6 is Moses Babazi. At the time of abduction, he was 30 years. He was a businessman. He was abducted in December 2020, a few months prior to the 2021 general elections. He survived by 1 kid. His whereabouts are unknown. Moving on, we have Peter Syria. He was 32 years at the time of being abducted. He was a plumber. He was abducted on the 1st of December 2020, a year before the general election. It is said he was abducted while coming from his place of work by armed forces personnel who pulled upon him and then soaked him in the front. For those who don't know, the drone is not one of these electronic gadgets we fly here, or you fly here in Europe or in the West. A drone is a Matatu or a object people in Uganda. So it's a very scary vehicle which is being used to abduct Ugandans. So moving on, number 8. Number 8 is simply Yuda. He was 44 years at the time of abduction. He was a businessman. He was abducted on the 19th December 2020, a few months prior to the election. He survived by 5 kids. No one knows what is going on, and his whereabouts are unknown. Moving ahead, number 9. Number 9 is Vincent Nalumoso. He was 31 years at the time of abduction. He was abducted on the 1st of December. He survived by 3 kids. His whereabouts unknown. Yeah? His crime at the time of abduction was wearing a beret, something which I'm I'm wearing myself. Yeah. The beret is a cap which I'm having on. So it's criminal or it's absolute suicide to have a beret in Uganda. So he was picked up wearing one of these berets or caps at the time of abduction. So we move on. We move on to the next person. The next person is Isma Sessad. He was 27 years at the time of being picked up. The dates were the 19th of November 2020. His whereabouts are known. Neighbor from his loved ones or any near friends. We move on to number 11. Number 11 is a youthful gentleman in Martin Lukwago. At the time of abduction, he was 35 years. His profession was a businessman, abducted on the 23rd November 2020, a few months or a month prior to the election. He's still missing, and we really advocate for his whereabouts. Moving on, number 12. Number 12 is Oba. He was 36 years at the time of abduction. He was a businessman abducted on the 18th December 2020, the month prior to the general election. Number 13. Number 13 is a youthful or middle-aged guy in Georgie Kisumber. 39 years. He was a businessman. He's survived by 3 kids. And I'm saying survived because it's highly unlikely, but we hope that's not true, that we probably will have our comrades seen unless General 70 comes up and produces these people in person, but it's very unlikely. We're worried, like everyone, including their families, that their destiny may be fatal. Moving on, we have an elderly guy who is 48 years. His name is Muhammad Hanata. He survived. He had 14 kids. He was abducted on the 23rd of December. He was a businessman. No one knows who's fending for the 14 kids. He was the breadwinner, like all most African families. The man is the military or the breadwinner. So we still are calling upon for the international community to bring or put pressure to General Museveni to account for these people. His military generals abducted in Uganda, leading to the general elections in 2021 and post-election thereby. So this gentleman was picked up by 6 military men dressed in black uniform with one civilian man wearing a mask. So what that means, the civilian man was probably the one who tipped them on the whereabouts of Kanata prior to being picked up on this fateful day in 2020. Then we go over to number 15. Yeah. Number 15 is Simula Dennis. Simula Dennis, he was 30 years at the time of abduction. Was abducted on the 20th of December. Survived on had 2 kids. His whereabouts are still unknown after today. Number 14 number 16 is Michael Semoto, who was a businessman. He was abducted on the 28th November 2021. That's it. During the Easter campaign, he said his opposition wanted him out of the way, so he could have military connections to have him abducted, so he could have a free pass during the